Welcome back, friends. Today we're stepping through the dream gate and right into pure nostalgia because we're visiting my very first Animal Crossing island, Wonderland. This is the island I built back in the middle of the pandemic when everything felt strange and upside down, and escaping into a cozy little world filled with tea parties and chaos bunnies was honestly a lifesaver. Coming back here now feels a little like opening an old journal, equal parts sweet, embarrassing, and wildly whimsical. So take a deep breath, pour yourself a cup of tea, and let's tumble back down the rabbit hole together. As we head to the right, because yes, that's literally the only direction you can go, you'll run smack into our very first fake building. I'm pretty sure this was meant to be a tiny little mini-mart because of course Wonderland needed questionable convenience stores. You could see the magazines stacked outside, a lonely shopping cart waiting for someone to rescue it, and just enough props to make it look like a real storefront if you squint. This was back in my I just discovered simple panels and suddenly I'm an architect era, and honestly, I still love the vibe. As we continue on, we make our way down to the first beach area. I actually put my campsite on the opposite side of the island on the beach, so I tried to tie the themes together here. Kind of like both sides of the shoreline were part of the same little story. When I built this spot, I imagined all the villagers camping out here after running the caucus race. You know, tired, sandy, and probably arguing about who actually won. So the beach became a mix of whimsy and a little organized chaos. Anytime I couldn't work in a direct Wonderland reference, I leaned hard into that dreamy storybook energy, and this beach was one of those places where the vibes did most of the storytelling for me. And look who we run into, Genji. If you remember, he's on our dreamy list for Briarwood, and honestly, I just adore him. Every time I see him, I have that tiny spark of, yes, best boy, you will come home with us eventually. Speaking of dreamies for Briarwood, there are a few of them on this island, and I want to make sure we say hello to each and every one. We'll make our way towards the Able sisters, but on the way, we'll run into our very first resident, the Hatter himself. He was one of the earliest characters I themed on this island, and seeing him again just feels so perfectly Wonderland. Like, of course he'd be out here wandering around causing delightful chaos. We make our way back towards the Able sisters, which is the beginning of our little shopping district. I also tucked a little post office build right beside them, because in my mind the sisters absolutely needed a spot to pick up fabric samples, mysterious packages, and maybe a few gossip-filled letters. Of course, the mail here will forever be unread now, since I don't have access to this island anymore, so it's basically a tiny time capsule of letters destined to sit and gather dust forever. Next, we'll head up the stairs tucked between the Able sisters and the little post office, making our way towards Nook's Cranny. And right beside it, you'll spot the Wonderland subway, which we are going to save for later because that deserves its own dramatic reveal. We'll climb up one more level and suddenly find ourselves at the Hatter's Haberdashery. This was one of my favorite builds on the island, a little chaotic, a little charming, and absolutely stuffed with hats. It felt like the perfect elevated hideaway for the Hatter to run his, let's say, his creative business ventures. Stepping inside, we enter the main shop, where I like to imagine the Hatter sells his wonderfully questionable wares. Every hat, every odd accessory, every slightly cursed item you probably shouldn't ask too many questions about. We'll We'll slip into the back room next, which I designed as his workshop. This is where I picture him crafting every hat by hand, stitching, gluing, cackling, probably talking to himself a little. Very on brand. We'll then circle back to the main room and head to the left, where we have our own little mad tea party set up. Because truly, nothing says Wonderland like a chaotic table full of mismatched teacups, tiny chairs, and zero sense of order. It's the heart of the whole theme, and honestly still one of my favorite spots on the island. We'll head back into the main room one last time before we say goodbye to the Hatter's Haberdashery. With the hats, the chaos, and the tea party behind us, we'll step back outside and make our way towards resident services. Wonderland really starts to open up from here, so this is where the tour begins to get a little bigger, a little brighter, and a little more whimsical. As we enter resident services, I want to make a quick little stop at the design portal. I actually made a few custom designs on this island back in the day. The checkerboard flooring you've seen, some pink plank pathing, some train tracks, and a whole collection of Wonderland themed outfits. So if you visit the Dream address, definitely take a peek. And if you want to use any of them on your own island, my creator code is down on the bottom left, so you can grab whatever catches your eye from the Able Sisters. I love making these, so I'm happy they're still here to share. I actually wanted to challenge myself to make the codes for Briarwood too, but Briarwood is my first new island in a long time, and I'm not so sure I'm up for that level of chaos just yet. Maybe once I get my feet back under me, I'll take another crack at designing, but for now, we're sticking to vibes, cozy paths, and whatever the Able Sisters bless me with. Leaving the design portal behind, we'll head towards the top right of the island. We pass a little newsstand and a few more fake buildings, my early attempts at world building before I knew what I was doing, but honestly, they still have that charming, slightly unhinged Wonderland energy. We'll then cross the bridge into what I always thought of as the forgotten part of the island. This is where the museum sits, and in my mind it functioned like a mausoleum for Wonderland. A quiet, tucked away place full of memories and things left behind. Just to the left, we have Genji's house, along with the graves of Coco and Weber, two of the very first villagers who ever lived on this island. They were here from the beginning, so I wanted to give them a little resting place once they moved on. If we follow the winding path deeper in, we'll find a few more graves scattered at the end. And if you look up at the cliffs, you can spot the carpenter overseeing the whole area. Hello, Carpenter! I don't think he cares we're here though. We all know he only has oysters on the brain. But we'll wave anyway. We'll leave the carpenter to his oyster-filled thoughts and continue on our path. This whole area has such a quiet, forgotten feel to it, like the part of Wonderland everyone wandered into once and then immediately decided, nope, too spooky, and left immediately. As we make our way past the museum, we'll climb up the vines to one of my favorite chaotic little builds on the island. I imagined this spot as the mushroom power plant because let's be honest, if Wonderland is powered by anything, it's definitely psychedelics. Giant mushrooms, glowing spores, questionable energy sources, checks every box. Just a little further along, we come across our second resident home, Caterpillar's house. And of course he lives right next door to a psychedelic mushroom factory. It just fits. He's probably out back smoking something questionable and giving life advice no one asked for, but everybody needs. I also have this cute little train build over here. I don't know why, I think I saw it on Pinterest and everybody was doing it, so I needed one on my island too. We'll head inside Caterpillar's house and immediately it's just mushrooms. Mushrooms everywhere. There are butterfly models scattered around too, because of course he's manifesting his own glow up. And there he is, the man himself, ready to ask us who we are the second we walk in. Classic caterpillar behavior. You step into his home and suddenly it's an existential interview. He is so cute though, and that little rainbow caterpillar costume, still iconic. Peak character design. I love him even when he's questioning my entire identity. We'll leave his home behind and make our way back down the cliffs, if I can manage not to get myself stuck. Listen, My entire design philosophy on this island was basically, there shall be no empty spaces. Absolutely none. Which means, yes, everything looks whimsical and full of magic, but it also means navigating some of these tight little corners is an Olympic sport. If I disappear off screen for a second, just assume I'm wedged between a mushroom and a hedge somewhere. We'll make our way back towards resident services, and this time we're heading north to visit our third resident house. I'm pretty sure I had 8 of them squeeze onto this island because back then I was absolutely determined to make the most out of every square inch Nintendo gave me. We also run into my own little character. You see, pink hair, still doing it, pink hair always. And look who we run into, Marshall, my absolute favorite villager of all time and another dreamy for Briarwood. He has been on every single one of my islands, and honestly, it just wouldn't feel like Animal Crossing without him. Seeing him here again feels like running into an old friend who's watched me go through every chaotic decorating phase I've ever had, and still shows up anyway. We make a quick pit stop at my little outdoor library build before heading into Mary Ann's house. I always loved this spot, just a tiny, quiet corner where Wonderland could pretend to be studious for 5 whole seconds. Mary Ann's house functions as the school for Wonderland because the whimsical vibe of the island honestly leans itself into kidcore really well. And let's be real, every good kidcore island needs a schoolhouse, even if I'm not totally convinced anyone here actually studies. The main room works as our primary classroom or lecture hall, very official, very academic, very sit down and try to pay attention even though there are literal giant mushrooms outside. The left room is our little locker room, complete with the cutest pom-pom purring butt rug. Truly the highlight of the entire school. There are photos of our overlord Tom Nook all over this locker room, and also a cute little vending machine if you need to hydrate after running around the island all day. Your body does need fuel to study. The back room is the nurse's office, because let's be honest, in Wonderland you absolutely need a place to get patched up if you fall off a mushroom or get bonked by a rogue tea set. Safety first, chaos second. I picked a pink IV bag for in here because in my mind they're healing you with glitter, magic, and maybe a little bit of that drink that makes you really small. You know, standard Wonderland medical protocol. The room on the right serves as our art classroom because of course Wonderland needs a space for messy paint projects, questionable crafts, and unhinged creativity. I'm an artist myself, so I always love creating little cozy spaces in my builds. One day, I'd love to have an art room of my own that feels just as whimsical and inviting as this one. Back outside, we'll make our way down and over to the left side of the island, heading toward the Duchess's house and the official Wonderland border. Don't worry, we're staying firmly on the Wonderland side of it for now, no slipping across dimensions just yet. We'll head up the path to say hello to the Duchess, who, as always, has that perfectly chaotic energy that fits right in with the rest of the island. The Duchess is one of those characters from the book who almost never makes it into the TV or film adaptations of Wonderland, so I wanted to make sure she had a place here. She's such a weird, chaotic little gem in the original story, and she deserved her moment. And fun fact, the Cheshire Cat is actually her cat. Yep, that's canon, so if you didn't know that before, now you do. Wonderland lore unlocked. As we head inside our home, I really wanted to give this space an indoor-outdoor feel. The main room has a fountain right in the center and this super fun wallpaper that makes the whole place feel like a whimsical courtyard. When I was designing this house, I was deep in the recent Cyrus wedding event grind, taking photos, collecting heart crystals, hoarding every cute item I could get my hands on. And honestly, I needed somewhere to put all those really cool pieces, so the Duchess's house became the perfect little showcase for all that wedding decor. And somehow, it fits her vibe perfectly. The room on the right became a cute little bakery, a cozy spot where you could commission your wedding cakes, unbirthday cakes, or any other overly dramatic dessert your Wonderland heart desired. It felt like the perfect extension of all that wedding decor energy, and honestly, Every chaotic island deserves its own bakery. The room on the left became a little flower shop, your go-to spot for picking up floral arrangements, bouquets, or anything else you need to keep Wonderland looking magical. It balanced the bakery perfectly, cakes on one side, flowers on the other. Truly, the essentials. The back room became our little chapel, which turned out absolutely beautiful, but also just a bit unnerving, which is completely on brand for me. I love cute things, I love creepy things, and I really love when those two vibes get mashed together into something whimsical and slightly unsettling. You just know the Red Queen would be absolutely furious if she found out anyone was worshiping anyone or anything other than her in here. She'd be kicking down the door like, off with their heads! Meanwhile, the rest of Wonderland is just trying to have a peaceful, slightly creepy ceremony. Back outside, we'll keep heading north where we come across a small little villager neighborhood. It's tucked away just enough to feel cozy, like its own little community within Wonderland. Even with all the chaos and whimsy happening on the island, I loved giving the villagers a spot that felt a bit more grounded. Well, Wonderland grounded. And over here on the other side of this lake, we could see another view of that little train build that we saw by Caterpillar's house. Heading back towards the little village, we run into Julian. And listen, I have a slight obsession with unicorns, which puts him pretty high on my favorite villager list. The man is majestic. Anytime he shows up on an island of mine, it feels like the universe saying, here, have a little sparkle today. Up on this cliff is Fang's house. I didn't redecorate this one, so we're not going to go inside. But he has a great view, and honestly, he deserves it. Diana's and Sasha's homes are also tucked up here in this little neighborhood cluster. I didn't decorate Sasha's house either, but since he's a dreamie for Briarwood, I thought we'd pop in and say hello anyway. Priorities, you know? Sasha is just so sweet, and he already has his own little tea party set up for his stuffed animals inside. Tell me that isn't the most perfect thing for this island. He fits right into the Wonderland chaos with zero effort. After leaving Sasha's, we make our way back down toward the secret beach, where we run into our best boy Marshall one more time. Of course he's down here. He's everywhere. He's perfect. I built a little structure on this beach that I like to imagine as Red's warehouse of questionable merchandise. You know, the place he stashes all the forged art, the suspicious furniture, the things that fell off the back of the boat. It felt fitting for his tucked away corner. The beach itself is decorated pretty simply, just enough to give it character without overwhelming the space, a tiny breather spot between all the Wonderland chaos. We turn back around and hop on over to our little orchard, just a tiny sweet spot tucked away to give Wonderland some breathing room. Then I hop back across by the Duchess's house and start making our way towards the Wonderland border. I always imagined this border as the split between the real world and the fantasy one, as if once you cross it, the rules shift and Wonderland fully takes over. And on the other side of that line, everything opens up into a small neighborhood tucked into the trees. I decorated all these homes except Julian's in this area, so if any of the villagers happen to be home while you're touring, definitely take a peek inside. Each one has its own little touch of whimsy and Wonderland magic. I wanted this area to feel a little more grounded, so you'll probably notice the lack of mushrooms here. After all the psychedelic chaos on the rest of the island, I thought it would be nice to have one spot where things felt almost normal. Wonderland normal, anyway. These two homes belong to Chrissy and Francine, and I've always saw them as the Tweedles of the island. Their matching but not matching energy just fits that chaotic duo vibe perfectly. We also have a little fishing spot over here, and down this way are Shino and Raymond's houses. And our little Marianne, there she is, dressed up in her sweet little nurse outfit. Raymond, of course, I saw as the Cheshire Cat of the island. The smug smile, the vibe, the little I know something you don't energy, it's perfect. And listen, Back when I was building this, the Animal Crossing community was out there committing heinous acts over this cat, trading him like rare gemstones, bidding wars, black market level chaos. It was a whole era, so naturally, Wonderland had to have him. Keeping with the real world theme of this side of the island, I gave Raymond a little convenient shop, which I thought was really cute and so him. And I was so pumped to use all of these items that I had got from Happy Home Paradise, because I built this house for him back when that DLC first came out. This whole tour is filling me with so much nostalgia. Honestly, I forgot how many little details I poured into this island. Next up, we'll head into Shino's house, where I gave her a cute little yellow bar setup. I really liked this build back when I made it, and I still really like it now. It just fits her energy perfectly. And all the yellow really makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. When we step back outside, we run right into Francine. She's always out and about, checking on the neighborhood and looking fabulous while she does it. We head to the left and make our way up the beach. This side isn't nearly as cluttered as the right side, so you can actually walk here without getting wedged between mushroom and garden gnomes. But I still sprinkled in some balloons and little touches of Wonderland just to keep the magic going. At the very top of the beach, you'll find a moon shrine. Why? I genuinely don't know. I just thought it was cute at the time, and honestly, sometimes that's the entire design philosophy behind my builds. If it's cute, it stays. We make our way back down and find ourselves right in front of my character's house. We're not going to go inside today, it's just a normal little house, but I do think it turned out really cute, so if you visit the dream address yourself, definitely pop in and take a look around. From there, we're going to make our way back down to the southernmost part of the beach, heading past the little neighborhood we just explored, back past Marshall's and Julian's homes, and all the way down to our tiny little fish market and Captain's Pier. It's a quieter corner of the island, but it has that cozy little seaside charm I've always loved. From the pier, we'll make our way to the right where we come across the carpenter's home, which is one of my absolute favorites on the island. Inside, you'll find a little street ramen restaurant. I was deep in my K-drama obsession at the time, and I was totally inspired by those street tent restaurants where the main character is always drinking their sorrows away at 2 a.m. It might not be the oyster restaurant of the carpenter's dreams, but honestly, I think it's better. Cozy lighting, warm noodles, a little melancholy, peak K-drama energy right in the middle of Wonderland. The back room is a tiny little alley where you can have a mermaid read your fortune, when she's actually there, that is. Sometimes she just vanishes like you saw your future and decided, nope, very on brand for Wonderland. Leaving the restaurant, we'll keep making our way back towards the right side of the island, following the shoreline and weaving through the paths until we reach the island's little farm. It's a tiny plot, but it adds just enough charm to make Wonderland feel lived in, even in all the chaos. Someone's out there tending crops. Today, that someone tending the farm is Diana, another villager we're hunting for on our new island. So of course we have to stop and say hello. She looks so perfectly at home here among the crops. After our quick visit, we'll make our way back down the path to check out the campsite. It's a simple little spot, but it's one of those areas that always felt cozy tucked away on this side of the island. I ended up putting the campsite down on the beach because honestly, it didn't really feel like it made sense anywhere else on the island, but I actually really like how this area turned out. It has that quiet, tucked away feeling. Next, we'll make our way into our second to last resident house, which happens to be the island's little hotel. Inside, we're greeted by the main lobby, warm, welcoming, and just a little bit whimsical. I themed each of the rooms in this hotel after some of the NPCs who visit or live here on the island. Everyone from merchants to museum folk get their own little slice of Wonderland. I won't show them off today, but just know that Blathers absolutely has his own place to stay. He deserves a cozy room to collapse in after dealing with all those bugs. Next, we'll head up to our little star garden, which, if I'm being completely honest, is mostly just a space filler. But it's a cute one, a sprinkle of stardust, some twinkly items, and a spot that makes the island feel a little more magical on the way to our final stop. We've just got one more stop left on our tour, but to get there we need to swing back to the subway we saw earlier. That's right, the Wonderland subway. And yes, she is fully functional. Thank you, Warp Pipes, for making my chaotic little dreams come true. We run past resident services, swing by the post office, and head back up the stairs towards the subway entrance. Time to catch our ride to the very last stop on our Wonderland tour. Waiting for us on the other side is none other than the Queen of Hearts herself. Of course she'd make a grand entrance for the finale. This is her kingdom, after all. We'll make our way first to the flamingo pond, where I like to imagine all the flamingos rest until they're summoned for croquet. They're just out here living their best lives, blissfully unaware that the queen is moments away from turning them into sporting equipment. Next, we'll head back down to the rose garden, where the roses are all red, of course. Whether they were painted red or actually grown that way, well, that's a story for another day. Either way, the queen is pleased, and that's what matters if you'd like to keep your head. Next, we'll make our way up to her castle. I was so proud of the way this build turned out at the time, and honestly, I still think it looks really good. It has that perfect mix of drama, symmetry, and Wonderland flair. Exactly the kind of place the Queen of Hearts would demand to rule from. Looking at this again is giving me a bit of inspiration for Briarwood. I'm planning on nestling a castle somewhere on that island too, so revisiting this build is kind of reminding me of everything I loved about making this space. We'll stop to say hello to the Jabberwocky, because of course the queen keeps a dragon-like creature lurking around her castle, before heading over to one more little tea party spot. Wonderland can never have too many tea parties, and this one feels like the perfect final touch before we wrap up the tour. We'll make our way back to the castle now, ready to head inside and see what the Queen of Hearts has in store. When we step inside, we find ourselves in a grand hall with a full teacup ride right in the center. I thought the black, white, and red color variant of this item was absolutely perfect for this space. Dramatic, bold, and just a little unhinged. There are red roses everywhere, of course, and her loyal card guards standing at the ready. The back room is her throne room, where she sits, screams, and orders for heads to roll on a regular basis. I mainly just really wanted to use this gold wallpaper, and this seemed like the perfect spot for it. It's over the top, slightly threatening, and absolutely dripping in drama. So you know, very on brand for the Queen of Hearts. We'll head upstairs for the final room of the house, the Queen of Hearts' bedroom. I wanted this space to be red. Bold red. Dramatic red. Don't you dare look at me the wrong way red. And I think I accomplished that pretty well. I like to imagine that the girl's day toy up here is her own little chessboard where she moves her pawns exactly where she wants them. She is the overlord of this land after all. With that, we'll head back down and out of the castle and start making our way back towards the airport to say goodbye to Wonderland. It's been such a magical little trip through my first island, and walking these paths again feels like stepping back in time. As we make our way back towards the airport, I can't help thinking about how much this franchise has meant to me over the years. I started my Animal Crossing journey way back on the GameCube when everything felt new and strange and magical in only a way Nintendo could pull off. And if you remember those early days, the villagers could be mean, like actually rude. They roast your outfit, call you out for not talking to them, and then demand favors like they were doing you a service. But honestly, I kind of loved that era. It gave the world this quirky charm and made the friendships feel earned. Each version of Animal Crossing has sort of grown up with me, and every town and now island I've created reflects a different chapter of my life. Wonderland especially holds a really special place in my heart. Alice in Wonderland has been one of my favorite stories for as long as I can remember. I literally have my entire left arm sleeved in Wonderland tattoos. So getting to blend this world with Animal Crossing, a game that's traveled alongside me through so many phases of my life, was incredibly fun and honestly kind of meaningful. Revisiting it now feels like stepping back into a dream, and I'm really glad I got to share that dream with you. I just realized I completely forgot to show you all the map, so here it is. You can see all 8 of my characters along with the 10 villagers who lived here on Wonderland, and down at the bottom is the dream address in case you'd like to come explore the island for yourself. I hope you enjoy wandering through it as much as I loved creating it. Thank you for wandering through Wonderland with me today. It felt a bit like stepping back into a dream, and I'm so happy I could share that magic with you. If you enjoyed our little adventure, don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you visit the dream address, tell me what you discover. Stay curious, stay gaming, and I'll catch you all on the next one. Bye-bye!